Welcome to Kill Team Casuals, a podcast all about Kill Team filmed in 3 different time zones by 3 different gents. Today, we are joined by a pillar of our Kill Team community and recent KTO crusher, the amazing Shane from Command Point. Enjoy.
Wow, here we are. Hello. Now I'm hoping this is working. After last week, please chat, tell us, did we nail it? Can you hear me? Can you hear, of course, to my right is Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop. Welcome to the show.
That's me. Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me to my own show. And with us, as always, maybe the most constant on this show, we have Russ from GFN. Welcome to your own podcast, sir.
Thank you for the welcome to my own podcast. Hopefully you can hear me and I'm not either A goblin or B, a robot. I'm going to pass this welcome on to our honored guest. We have Shane from Command Point in the building.
The man.
Hello. How's it going, everybody?
So good.
Good, man. Thank you for joining us.
To have you. You're an 11th hour get by us, and we are very excited about it. We've flipped the show. The script went out the window because we've got Shane from Command.
We're very heavily scripted, as you might imagine.
Yes,
We never wing anything.
I've actually got the script paper that we use here. It's large and in charge usually.
That sounds about right. Nice. That sounds about right.
Well, it's an honor. It's truly an honor.
Now, Shane, we know, I'm assuming most people know, but tell us a little bit about Command Point, what you guys are doing over there for the uninitiated or the future fans of Command Point.
So Command Point is a Kill Team YouTube channel that my friend and I started. My friend being Ryan, who's the other guy in the channel. And we started it in like 2018, like last edition. And we've been doing it ever since. It's a very competitive focus. So it's like the opposite of the casual sphere that you guys are living in here. But it's very tournament focused, competitive focused, but it's been Kill Team for like coming on 4 years, I want to say, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's Command Point.
Yeah.
Command Point, man.
Yeah,
it was one of those first channels I got into when I was getting into Kill Team.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I think honestly, you could probably ask most people and they would say something similar like that, because you guys were out there really early on, and I started in last edition, but kind of late on. But you guys were, one of the ones that you'd go to all the time for that Kill Team news, that Kill Team fix in Kill Team 18.
When we got started, the only like real content creators were, I want to say like Glass and Beernid, and that was like it. And there was nothing else out there.
Yeah. So first edition. Yeah.
Yeah. All the way back in 2018. I think COVID came and it was kind of a miracle that we came out the other end. We came out the other end of it actually like better. Like I don't know how we grew during COVID really, but it just happened.
That's wild.
Yeah. And
well,
then
you guys like,
cool.
Yeah, you guys did a huge service to Kill Team in general, just by all the TTS stuff. You guys were a huge advocate for Kill Team on TTS through COVID, and so you gotta give yourself some credit there. That was huge for, I think, just the life of the game in general.
100%.
Yeah, that was like our big thing.
I think
and then last edition
tournaments on TTS as well. I feel like you. Yeah, I know you had videos. You did tournaments as well. That was great.
Yeah, we're actually we still do them. It's not as big as it used to be, obviously, but we have one in registration right now. That's it's on the Command Point Discord if you check it out. CPTS Spring. So if anybody wants to play TTS Kill Team, if they don't have like a local scene or they want to play against whoever in the whole world, then that's the place. Go check us out.
I've always been a sucker for the tier lists. I always hang around because when you rank my teams low, I use that as, ammunition amongst my friends to be like, well, it's not me, guys. It's the team. Have you guys seen the tier list? Yeah. And then when they do it, I just go very quiet on the tier list. I don't mention it. I don't tell my friends that it's out and about.
Don't share it at all.
I totally use it, just to gauge how I'm going. You got the big experience, though. You got to head over with our very own Battle Brothers Tabletop to the Kill Team Open. How was it? How was the whole event for you?
I had a blast. It was a crazy, wild weekend. I mean, as far as like how I did, I didn't expect to do as well as I did. But I was really happy with how I played. Thank you. Yeah. But everything else, as far as just like the community experience and just hanging out with people, it was so fun. It's the most like, I'd say this is probably the most like social stuff I've done while traveling to a tournament. Like usually it's like you play and then like you go out to eat and get dinner and then that's it. But I feel like I really interacted a lot and engaged a lot and did a bunch of fun stuff. It was a blast.
At least 2 meals out this time. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's what I was been telling people. It's like, you know, the one time of the year basically that you get to see most people that you're talking to on the internet. For a lot of us, like sort of every day, like we're all on Discords and talking about this stuff. And so it's fun. You get like, you know, people by their Discord handles, but you actually get to meet people in, you know, IRL. And that's super fun. That's probably my favorite part about KTO is that just everybody's here for the same thing, hanging out. It's good to see everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you find, Shane, the tournament being ITD only? Did that change your thought prep, how you were building your team or what you were going to take into it as opposed to the open board or a bit of a mix?
Actually, yeah, it was probably a blessing in disguise because I was really mad at first when I found out it was all ITD because I wanted to play Crew. And Crew are not good on all ITD. And I probably would have played Crew if it was open board and not done nearly as well as I did this weekend. But I did try for a second to make it work and it just did not. So I was like, all right, let's play something semi-competitive. And I landed on Legionaries because I really wanted to play an elite team. And Ryan was playing Intercessors already. So it was like, we just kind of played that matchup against each other a bunch of times. And I really hadn't played Legionnaires much at all before like January. I was like, I want to pick something like totally new.
Good God.
I was going to say if Into the Dark changed your kind of roster, because I mean, I've not brought it myself, but I know the Butcher is it feels more feasible in the Into the Dark. But if you hadn't played them a lot beforehand, I guess you didn't have like a basis to change and tailor for Into the Dark. You just went into it with Into the Dark in mind, basically.
I've basically barely played them on open board because all my games with Legionnaires were just for this. I actually didn't run the Butcher once the whole weekend, but I had plans to. Like there's some matchups where I would have ran it, but I just didn't happen.
I've yet to run them either. It just looks so cool, and I think Into the Dark's a little more feasible.
He's such a trap so much of the time.
I've still not brought. I've not made the plunge to take the Butcher yet, but one day.
He's cool.
Legionaries like
charge, and then he dies.
Yeah, like to me, and you're the authority here between the four of us. Now, I am a Legionaries player. I've been playing them for a while, and haven't done quite as well as you have. I think Russ has been dabbling with Legionaries for a while. They seem to me like a team that has a lot of like traps, like really cool looking traps. Whether it's equipment, like there's some really, something like warded armor, which to somebody would look like, oh, that's really spicy, but you pay 3 equipment points for it, and it's such a trap. Or Butcher, you see the massive damage, and relentless when you charge, and those things can be sort of a trap. Would you sort of agree on that, or no?
Yeah, 100%. A lot of it was just like talking to people that that I thought were better than me, and asking them what should I be doing really. And then it was like taking like the kernels that people would give me and just like working with it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that look really cool with Legionnaires that you just need to be willing to just like set aside. I think that's a good assessment.
A lot of people are running them pretty much straight out of the box, Nurgle. Because that is a very powerful way. I think the 2 cheese chasers on this channel would also definitely concur with that. How did you end up running them?
I ran them all Nurgle.
There we go. We've got it's a triple cheese, everyone. Triple cheese.
But you had the surprise. I'll obviously let you talk about it, but didn't you have a Slanesh Thrive Talon in your back pocket waiting?
Ooh, so spicy. Blew my mind. When you told me it was a KTO, it blew my mind.
Yeah, I never took it because I never played against Gallerpox. That was the only reason I had it.
I was going to say, you mentioned it,
so is it a clear counter against a particular foe?
It was just for Gallerpox. So it's like they and I talk about it on the video we released today too on Command Point. It's basically like when he kills something in melee, he can pick an enemy within 3 inches and give them -1 APL. And then you use the Slanesh tactical ploy for 1 CP and give another guy -1 APL. And you could just keep the Hulks just like for moving. And I can't take all the credit for that because I got the idea from brainstorming with Wilfong. Because he's like the Gellerpox guy. So I was
the Gellerpox guy, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked and it's just so good. It's really fun. I've only gotten to do it once, but it never came up at KTO. So
yeah, it's so nasty. I love it.
Does that come up a lot in your mindset when you're obviously picking your team, but not just about what team you want to play, but obviously, you know, what you think you'll be facing a lot of? You said you played obviously a bit against Legionaries. Was Gellerpox, was any other teams you were like, I'm going to have to be good at killing a lot of these guys or lining up against those teams?
A little bit, yeah. Like Hordes was a big one. It wasn't like specific teams, but mostly like team types. Like Hordes were the thing that scared me the most just because of like what they can do on like on loot. On some of the maps, it was like they can just like overwhelm you on points. And like they really put you on the back foot. So, and there's not really like a strategy other than I think the biggest pitfall against these teams is like being too aggressive on turn 1 and then they just out activate you and just like wipe your guys. I think you just against some of these teams, you just need to be willing to like go down on turn 1 and then claw your way back. Otherwise, it's going to be way worse and they're still going to get up early anyway. So,
yeah, well, that was going to be my next question for you is because I feel like turn 1 for so many people it's very make or break. And also I just think a lot of people, not me, I know exactly what to do at turn 1 at all times, but for lesser players, you know, who might not know what to do in turn, like you, and you sort of just said more of a conservative turn 1 is what, especially on Into the Dark, you really have no choice but to play a conservative turn 1 most of the time. Does that change for you on like open? I know you said you haven't played them much on open, but on open, would that change a little bit or would you still be setting up for a stronger turn 2?
I still play really passive on turn 1 with I've always been this way with the way I play elite teams, even last edition, which is not really relevant because it's a different game, but I would play super passive on turn 1 because, and this is kind of an idea I got from an old TTS player who doesn't play anymore, really, called Micromancer.
Yeah.
And he told me early in the edition when we were talking about elite teams, that's like, if you play super passive on turn 1 and you're just focused on like getting your points, you go full conceal, stuff like that. Like you're a stronger team, like pound for pound than the other team usually, as an elite team. And then like turn 2 starts and there's only 3 turns left in the game. And there's a lot of pressure on the opponent to deal with you. Like the clock is like ticking for them to like deal with your models before you just start wiping them. And I think so like that really pass, because on most of the time, because they out activate you so hard, you're never going to get like a big aggressive play on turn 1 with an elite team. Like they can just wait you out. So there's really no use most of the time going aggressive, in my opinion. So like I think you just focus, like play conservative turn 1, just get the points that you can, and then turn 2, just go nuts, go hog wild.
I like it.
Yeah. So I've tried it both ways, and the times that I have been tried to like, all right, I'm gonna really cause some problems turn 1. Like, oh, there goes my champion. He was like, he had a door locked down against a horde team, and then I lose him turn 1, and it's like, well, I guess should I concede now? I don't know.
Yeah.
GG.
Kind of.
GG.
Yeah, I don't think I've played a game where my champion dies on turn 1 and I've gone on to win.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Shane. Thanks. Making me feel good. Make me feel real good. Thanks.
It's definitely happened. I don't think I've won after that happening.
Oh, you won. It was possible, but here we are.
No, it wasn't as disrespectful as I thought it was.
No, please let it be. It's okay. That's the energy we want here. That's fine.
Yeah. We're a big fan of negging around here. Yeah.
That's how we got him in the first place. We just negged him till he turned up. Was there any really cool or favorite opponents you had from the day? Was there a certain game that stood out that you really enjoyed?
I had a super epic game on day 1 against Nick Craven, who's a blooded player. He ended up placing 5th in the tournament. Nice. It was cool because on the first round of day 1, Nick played against Ryan on stream, and Nick got the win. And then the next round, Nick and I played, which was like a weird coincidence. Yeah. And we ended up tying 19-19. It was like the most crazy back and forth game I've ever played of Kill Team. It was nuts. And he's really good. He's a super cool guy, but like amazing blooded player.
Any tips for playing the blood? I know Russ is frantically scrawling notes down there, just off the top of your head, just for while we're at it. Just
what did do well against you? What did you have no answers for?
What made them good?
No.
You have to be so careful against them because they, if you can't like a lot of hordes, you can just charge and pass. If they've got a guy that already went, you just charge and pass and just sit there.
Yeah.
But if you do it to blooded, they can shoot in combat, so it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And you have to be like
disregard or something like that. It's great.
Yeah. Callous disregard. Yeah.
Callous disregard. Yeah.
And then the like they have like a savior protocols basically with they can have a guy jump in front of a bullet.
God, yeah.
So like I was like super trying to like remember that at all times. The one thing I kind of did forget that kind of cost me the win is his I kind of forgot about Bloodbath, the tack up. Until like the last turn, I'm like, what has he not revealed that he has? And then I'm like, I pull up Wahapedia on my phone and I'm like, oh, that's the one. And yeah, he did get the 1 point on it. I think he got 2 points on it.
And Bloodbath is kill more than half of your opponent. Or
yeah, there's the first point is kill more than half, I think, and the second point is kill 2/3 or more than 2/3. Okay. So he killed 5 of my guys. And if I had just kept that guy alive, it would have been 18-19. But it was such a fun game. He's a cool guy.
They're one of the most thematic teams, I reckon, to play against. Everything about their team, the way they play, I love that. They are with single-handedly, I reckon, the most fun team to play as or play against. They're very cool. All their shenanigans seem so on point. That's for sure.
I've never played as them actually, but I was telling somebody I don't have Kill Team dreams, by the way, normally, but I had a dream the other night that I took blooded to a tournament. And I told my friend, and they're like, I'm pretty sure that like those types of dreams, like the chaos thing, it's like not a good omen typically.
Oh,
having chaos dreams.
I see.
Lost in the warp. Yeah.
It's a blessing. Blessing for the dark gods. Yeah. Yeah, blooded are rad. Love blooded.
They're super cool.
Obviously, you're on the competitive side, and we just needed a bit of intel. How was what was the scuttlebutt, the groundswell around the narrative event that Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop was organising? Did you hear good things? Were there any complaints?
We had a lot of complaints.
Did it make it in from outside? Was it, or were they were beneath the notice?
Lots of like hair bobbles with lots of clumps of hair left on all the tables from the guy that had been setting them up. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we kind of had them. They were pushed away into like a little cave corner, so like we didn't see them most of the time. No, but they were in a tent actually, and I would go there when like between games and like just walk around because it was really nice in there actually. The inside was like super hot, and the heated tent was just like perfect, at least on the first day. It felt that way. But it was cool. You guys had so much space, and there was like the zombie stuff that was going, the poxwalkers. It was like I felt like I was missing out.
A lot of people in the chat are yelling it was actually not a tent, it was a pavilion.
Yes, it's the Tentavilion we named it. We went from a tent and then it changed to a pavilion. And so Happy Medium was a Tentavilion. And it was actually like going in, I was like, all right, narrative in the backyard in the tent. Is that how we're doing it? Okay. And then it ended up being a really like, again, can't argue. It was perfect tent weather and absolutely the nicest tent I've ever been in. So it was lovely and much quieter. Oh my God, so much quieter.
Oh, no.
Like I would pop into the comps and by the way, Shane would always finish his games quick. Like you would always pop in. I'm like, every time I walked around, I'm like, Shane's just like walking around casually. It's like, dang, dude, he's like killing it. And but yeah, the tent
wasn't muttering to himself, doing circles, muttering, looking up Bloodbath in the tent, going, "What the hell is this? It's going to cost me points."
No, I'm a super fast player. That's every tournament I go to, like win or lose, I'm done in like an hour, and then I walk around.
Oh, that's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah. I got asked this the other day, actually, on another chat I was having, and someone was talking about chess clocks and implemented in Kill Team. We haven't talked about it, but what are you guys' thoughts? I'm going to throw it out there to the floor. Is it something
Shane's got some bombs to drop?
Yeah, please.
About chess clocks.
I rolled up his sleeves. He's like, well, I mean, yeah.
Ryan and I, when we were practicing against each other in like the month lead up, we would practice with chess clocks. Part of it was because Ryan wanted to make an effort to play faster because he's not the fastest player normally. And I think it helped him a lot with that. And I was planning on using chess clocks at KTO for all my games, but there was not enough room on the tables. So I used them on like some of my stream games. But I really like them. I mean, obviously I just finished saying I play fast. So I mean, I'm kind of biased on that, but it's like Kill Team is like one of the only competitive tabletop games where it's not like that standard. I've noticed at big tournaments, like a lot, like 40K, it's pretty normal. AOS, it's normal. MCP, it's normal at big ones. So I don't know. I like them.
I don't think I'd be opposed to them. I'm quite a quick player as well. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it being needed. I guess if there's tournaments running over here, that is an issue. If they run over and you can't get that fourth round, because that seems to be the important fourth round to make sure they can get an actual winner. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd be okay with it if they started bringing them in.
I always find it's that weird thing too where I have a short attention span. So if I play someone who does take a long time, I know my turns are quick, but then someone else who is a slow play, my brain wanders, and then it's kind of, have to bring my head back into the game because I'm like, you took so long that I forgot what we were doing. So I think there's definitely something to be said for that, I'm not sure if it's a tactic. I'm not sure if anyone uses it on the competitive tables, but, just icing out your opponent a bit, just getting them a bit bored, throwing them off their game when that could be something that maybe the clocks might help with.
It definitely happens. It's not common at all, but it happens for sure.
I mean, especially as you said,
especially
Russ,
when
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead, man. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, what pretty much backing up what Russ said, that thing too. I've seen it in a few tournament games every now and again too. That's it. Yeah, everyone takes 9 years on the first 2 turns, and then you realize you've got 10 minutes for the crunch time, and it's like, well, realistically, you probably want to have a good spread of your brain across the whole game because. Yeah, great. You took 2 hours on your first turn. Now you've got a minute per activation in the last turn. Isn't that crunch time? Like, that doesn't seem ideal.
You're just going to end up talking out like turns 4. It'd be like, we don't have time for turn 4, so here is what we think's going to happen. And you kind of want, ideally, to get all the turns in so you can get, max scores, I guess.
Yeah. I'm a fan of...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm a fan of cutting out, slow playing is something that you hear talked about occasionally, and like if you can just sort of cut that, like if like chess clocks are like more normalized, that's not even something you have to really worry about. You can sort of cut that out of that possibility out of things, and I'm a fan of like just cutting, trimming the fat where you can. Like I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, my last game against Mike Cortez, who's a super cool guy, by the way, that was on stream, and he requested a chess clock. And I was like, neither of us really came close to like running out of time, but it was like round 4, and I realized I didn't know what one of his tac ops was. They were like hidden. And I was like, I don't know any of the breachers' tac ops at all. So I look over the clock and I see I have 10 more minutes than him, and I'm like, hold on. And I pull out my phone and I just look for his tac ops, and I'm like, okay, you have that and that. But I mean, yeah, it's like it's nice because it's your time, and you don't have to feel bad about wasting it because it's your own time to waste.
That's good.
So.
I think it stops a bit preemptively. Yeah, feels bad moments, or that's it exactly. If you got no time, well, you can't, like, it adds that extra element of the game, which is that time pressure. And if we're being getting in there, the thick of things, it's combat. You don't always have 10 minutes to think of your move. You've got to go off the cuff, and you and your opponent making mistakes is sometimes the exciting part. Or what makes or breaks a game is that moment where maybe a bit of time pressure is good to keep it interesting.
Yeah. Certainly the only way I win if they're making mistakes. That's what I count on. That's my game plan. They make mistakes.
Russ the Iceman just slowing them down.
My one-word game plan is capitalize. That is all. That is all I can do. Hope.
Oh man, and so I'm not quite sure what you got, Rhys, where you got going next, but before we move too far on, do you have any like Legionary tips for somebody like getting started with Legionaries, or people who've been playing it and who are trying to take it to the next level? Like Legionaries, but yeah, they're definitely not for me. But like for me, Legionaries are a team that when they came out, like man, I was like, oh, this looks like the team that I've been waiting for. And really, ever since they've released, it's kind of what I've been running, and I think it's a good team to like to teach people the game with, whether you're playing with or against them, because they're scary, but you can also tone them down. They're my favorite team by a million miles. So, do you have any tips for new players or people just trying to take it to the next level?
Yeah, so the easiest one for sure that I can say is, and this is something that people just don't do typically, and I think you should take the Anointed every game. It's like some people just don't take him sometimes because like there's like mission actions and stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't want him because then he can't do the mission. Just take him every game. He's amazing. And then the other tip, which is more about like what you take in terms of like how you construct the list, is so there's like you have the Slanesh/Khorne side, and then you have the Nurgle/Tzeentch side. I think typically, without telling people play Nurgle or play this. The Nurgle Tzeentch side, I think, should typically make up most of your guys, and the Khorne/Slanesh should just be like little tech pieces that you have for like this thing or that thing. So that's how I approach it. Is like my list is usually made up primarily with a core of the defensive side, and then if there's like an answer, like an offensive answer that I want for this matchup, I might take like one guy Slanesh, or like with the Gellerpox, or like. Some people like the one Khorne guy if they're playing against like an 8-wound team and they want like the 8-wound crit thing. So I think that's a good idea. I think like generally what I'm saying is don't take like a full team of Khorne or a full team of Slanesh. Probably like take one or two guys of that type that fit the matchup. And then the rest of your team should probably be mainly composed of the defensive. That's just how I play. That's made it easier for me. But yeah.
You added the mind melter of a tip before with your little the Slanesh guy to counter Gellerpox. Is there any other little mind melter tips you've got in there? Any other cool key matchups or just blow Ben and Russ's mind? I'm just give him one that's going to cause a nosebleed because I would love to see it.
Well, I guess we'd like to know who you run as well. What's your traditional team that who gets off the bench most in your roster as well?
So every game at KTO I ran double gunner, so I'd have a heavy bolter and either a plasma or a melta. But like I do like the icon bearer to slot in over a heavy bolter if it's like an 8-wound team and I like take him with a chainsword. I really like that. And generally speaking, the butcher, I only take him against like the teams with like no melee, like Vetguard or Pathfinders for the most part. Or if like they have like a couple melee, I'll take butcher maybe if I'm attacker, and that means I'm deploying last. So I can specifically deploy him away from their like one melee guy, because the butcher's great in melee unless he gets charged, and then he kind of sucks.
Sure.
Yeah. So butcher for me against non-melee teams, or if they have a little bit of melee, if I'm attacker, I'll be more likely to take it. I'm trying to think what else is weird. Anointed every game, Shrive Talon every game, Bellfire every game. I always go Aspiring Champ over Chosen. The extra mission action just like wins me games. It's crazy how good that is. People just forget about it all the time. Yeah. He's basically 4 APL most of the time. I would take him with different weapons depending on what I'm against, but like never took the Chosen. Usually took the Melta over the Plasma, but the Plasma is still really good.
That's an interesting choice. Is that because you're
Nurgle
being
Melta.
Aggressive or Nurgle Melta?
Nurgle Melta is so good because you can just delete a model. For 1 CP, you can just delete whoever you want to delete.
Yeah, I did that to I think I did it to Nick Craven's Ogren. I used the Malignant Aura.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that he had no defense dice.
I did that one time.
The
first time I played Blooded, I did that, but he had the shield guy like just within 3 inches. So he popped deploy, and my 3 AP melter shot hit the lookout sir guy instead of the ogre. And the first time I ever played Blooded, and I'll never forget that. And then he probably died. Yeah, after that.
I bet. Yeah. But yeah, the double gunners are sweet. If you give them malefic blades. The Melta with the Malefic Blade was my MVP against Matt H in his Void Dancers. He was just so good, like everything. And then, I mean,
because that's just giving him some close combat punch as well as the shooting.
3-5, isn't it, on the combat?
3-5. The big thing is it's 5 attacks. Yeah, 5 attacks is huge.
Nice. I like that with points. I generally go plasma, but I'm thinking maybe I should be giving Melta a shot.
Plasma is good too. I took plasma against breachers. It kind of depends if there's like more long lanes. Like on an open board, I'm probably taking plasma more often.
Oh, of course, it's into the dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And then the only other thing I can think so like usually I'd always take the Suspenser system on the Heavy Bolter and the Grizzly Trophy and the Anointed, and then I had 4 points left over. And that would either be a crack grenade, which I'd always put on the Sorcerer so he can do the lethal 5 crack grenade.
That blew my mind. That was the one you told me that blew my mind.
Oh, so what, he buffs himself, does he? And then...
Yeah. If there's a lethal 5 crack grenade, it's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts.
Well, there's Russ gone. There's the Mind Melter. I love it.
No, I've moved on to Blooded.
Yeah. So it would either be that or the double Malefic Blade on the Gunners. But that's how my equipment went every game.
Nice. And then you mentioned the gunners, and I think a big thing for people is to know, and you mentioned it briefly, when to drop the heavy gunner. And do you have any tips on when to drop him?
It's like he's the first man out if there's like a better piece. So like if you can take the butcher, the guy that you're dropping is probably that heavy gunner. Like if you can take, like if I'm taking an icon, I'm taking him instead of the heavy gunner. The other 5 are pretty much like locked for the most part, except for like what they take. So I like the heavy gunner against elite teams. Just the upside of like, you might like win initiative and then you see like he can like walk in a room and shoot twice, which is cool. But I do want to mess with the Reaper chain cannon. Some people are telling me they like that and I've never touched it. So that's something I want to mess with next.
It's a great model, if nothing else. Rule of cool.
Yeah, it's a great model. It should get more play from the model alone. I don't know. It's easily stacked. It's got to be like 5 or 6 attacks. It's got to be more than the Heavy Bolter. 6 maybe.
6 shots.
Ceaseless.
Yeah, with ceaseless.
Ceaseless too. Yeah. So you're like just getting 6 hits.
Yeah. Basically, it equates to like most of the time 6 hits, which again, it's not AP, but you just overwhelm. Saves.
Also, that's it.
I've seen it delete.
No P, no P1 or anything.
No P.
No
P's here.
No P.
Fusillade. Ooh. Yeah, spicy.
Fusillade. I'm not a fan.
Everybody's favorite rule.
There's someone using that really well. Someone out there is absolutely wrecking people with Fusillade, going like you and you. Because you do it after you roll, don't you? You assign the hits after you roll. Is that Fusillade? You don't have to say.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows how.
No one uses it.
If you're in the comments and you are wrecking face with Fusillade, let us know who and why, because no one's using it. It's like what's that? Unwieldy. Like, is anyone rocking Unwieldy? It's the Darklands is an unwieldy one.
Yeah, is there much else apart from the Darklands that's unwieldy?
The
seismic cannon.
The Corsair Gunners can do it, which it's okay for them because they get a free dash, so they kind of make up for it. And then the Commando Dynamite is unwieldy.
Deep Fatty in the chat's also just highlighted your Christmas series, which had some really good tips in there as well on the Command Point channel. So more Legionary tips and tricks. You guys did it. Was it 12 Days of Christmas? Thing where you went through and were highlighting all different team each day is a good series if you want some tips. So that's on Command Point as well.
And when I did that interview, so it was 12 days of Kill Team, and every day was like a different faction, and I was talking to a different player who like specializes in it. So the one I did with Legionaries was with a guy has on the Discord. His name is Sensor Lock. He was at KTO. His name is Bob. Bob Fleck, super cool guy. He's been playing Legionaries since like day one. He's a big chaos guy. And his video and that interview helped me a lot. So.
There you go. Some tips right there. I've got a question. I'm going to railroad this to what I want. When you did your last, because it's what I do. Yeah. When you did your last tier list, Kasserkin, right down the bottom of the ITD. Yeah, in the basement with nothing good going on. I'm playing them in a narrative campaign. Sometimes they make me cry. What do they need to fix that team? Have you got any suggestions? This is just for me. Everyone else can tune out for a bit if they like.
So I've played them once. I want to say I've played against them a couple times. I've played as them once. They're super fun. Like for starters, they're really fun to play. I don't think they should get ballistic skill 3 personally. I think that would be too good with the elite points, but like, I don't really know. I mean, I think they need to get more elite points probably. Like you probably shouldn't have to be so careful with them. But like their equipment, like there's some of their equipment is just like needlessly bad. Like they could like make a few things like better without having it be like egregious.
At first I thought the foregrip was good for the no negative on Overwatch, but then I realized very rarely as a team with 10 plus models that you're going into Overwatch.
Yeah. The cool thing is there is a guy who's at KTO and LVO. His name is Brett. And he was he placed, I want to say like 13th at LVO and 12th at KTO with Kasserkin.
Yeah, it's wild.
Whoa. So my fault. Okay.
He has a YouTube channel with another guy named Blaine, who's also at KTO and LVO. And their YouTube channel is called Six Sided Legion. And they do like their tournament reports. And we're going to be doing Ryan and I are going to be doing a video with them at some point soon where we're going to talk to Brett and squeeze all the Kasserkin secrets out of him. So.
Well, you've got at least one listener right here. I'll be tuning in for sure on that one. What about the other cellar dweller, the Horror-Tech Circle?
They're rough. It's
yeah, because I love the composition of their team in terms of when they came out. I did love seeing that they've got like a kind of like a hero model, and there was different choices.
Yeah,
they've clearly like. I thought there was some thought into how that team is put together. I really loved the idea. I would like to see that a little bit more with some other teams, but it's obviously not translating to the tabletop at the moment.
I want them to be good so bad because I actually I like Necrons. I kind of played a lot of Necrons back in last edition. There's not a lot of heroes out there. They're not a very common race, but honestly, since I did the tier list, I had Kasserkin and Hierotech at the bottom with each other. And I really don't think Kasserkin deserve to be down there with Hierotech. I think Kasserkin are much better, like upon reflection. I don't think they're good, but I think they're a lot better than Hierotech. Hierotech is just, I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't give them another body. I've seen people say that because if they do that, then you literally can't play the team out of the box, which is just, that's not even on the table. If I'm a game dev, that's not even an option. So like they need to get creative with it. Like I think the Apprentice should probably be better. Like make them 3 APL or something. I don't know. I like the team.
Just make everybody better. That's my solution. I think you take every model.
That sounds like
make them a little bit better.
Like a fix.
I hope
just a little bit.
Get them on the phone. Hey, I got some ideas, GW.
And they're cool too. And I did say in the video Ryan and I released where we recap KTO. I asked Ryan what he's doing after KTO, like what team he wants to play, and he said Archon. And he asked me, and I said I want to play some of these really bad teams.
Yeah, you want to delve down into the depths.
I like it.
Yeah, I want to mess around with Hierotech and Phobos and
Phobos.
Nice. And people keep saying Exaction Squad is bad. I don't think they are, but it just makes me want to play them more. Yeah,
I heard you say that in the video.
I guess who's the Exaction Squad?
The RBD
team.
RBD kill team thing.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, we're talking about Kill Team, remember?
So casual. So casual.
You know what? I've only just finished building them, and that kit annoyed the hell out of me. I was building it, and I'm like, I had to choose between the medic. I'm not going to use the name they use. The Chirurgeon anyway. Chirurgeon or the Leash Master, and I'm just like, and I like the stun and the shield look so good, but you've got like so many like, oh man, I don't want to have to buy another box. It seems like that's what it is.
Here's what you do: you buy the Necromunda Palinite Subjugator box, and that's all your shields right there.
A few people have said that. They probably sold out.
I was like, I'm going. Well, yeah, it'll be on eBay for like God, you have to sell your kidneys just to get them.
I've had
remortgage the house time.
I've had massive analysis paralysis with that team. I haven't built them for that reason. I'm like, there's so many specialists. There's the shield guys. There's like the shotgun. That choice of which way to go. It's going to be a little while before I can work out what to do with that kit. I'm definitely panicking.
Yeah.
I just want the shields, man. I just want them. It's funny every time a team whenever a box comes out and there's like one team is like super cool, like tech, like deep toolbox, like Archon, and they've got like super high skill ceiling, and the other team is just like I'm gonna walk up and bonk you. Like that's the team I want to play. I love the bonk teams.
I have
I'm in the bonk zone too. That's about where I want to live. Is bonk zone. Yeah, I built Archon. You're not going anywhere. I built and have like my Hand of the Archon team is sort of built, and I had 2 games with them the other night, and I played against a good player. His name has also been in my area, and he was running Commandos, and it was my first time piloting Hand of the Archon, and I had such a hard time against Commandos. Like it's just weird because like who's having a hard time against Commandos? I guess I am, but I was like, man, I wasn't getting my kills. And with just a scratch, they were denying my kills. I wasn't getting my pain tokens. And so it was my first outing with them. But oh man, I was like, I'm gonna have to think about this a little different.
Did you enjoy play? Like, were they still fun to play? Although they weren't getting the kills, did you like the rules? Did they feel like they were going to be a fun team apart from against?
Yeah, for what it's worth.
Did you do the evil laugh when you denied?
No, I didn't.
Like, did you not do like, you go again, sir, and then like?
Oh, I did. I did that.
Laugh. Yes, nice.
Yeah, learning to use that again. I think Commandos. And I'm going to say this to make myself feel a little bit better. I think Commandos do a decent job of shutting down some of what Hand of the Archon wants to do in a weird way. I'm going to say that because I just make myself feel better. Yeah, I think I read that. I think some on Command Point on that server. I think I read people in the Discord saying that. Yeah,
perfect counter.
But
perfect counter.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, hard counter to Archon. Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah.
Crew would also hate playing against Commandos. I can tell you that.
There you go.
They don't love it. It's not a fun matchup.
I had a hard time with their Wormblade into Commandos actually, but then it was one of my first tournaments, and it was a lot of moving parts, and I wasn't ready, and I rolled up, and I was 5 minutes late, which is not great, and the guy was already setting up, so I just kind of went, let's go, and just threw everything down, and then got promptly destroyed.
There is a lot to be said for any team that can just straight up ignore damage. Like any team that is at a risk of bouncing like a Hand of Archon, like the Wormblade, you've got those key moments where you can deal out big damage, and Legionnaires obviously are a great team for ignoring or lowering damage. Can definitely hurt teams that then can't take a hit back, which is probably what happened with I'm sure, Ben, with the hard counter of the Commandos against
with the hard Archon counter. Yeah. That's the new meta. That's the new meta that I discovered. Yes.
We've got in the chat too, Jimbo Jacks just come in, and he was just saying, Shane, that he loved your breakdown of the KTO Talons, and you absolutely nailed why they did so well. So awesome analysis. So I believe that's KTO champion Jimmy.
Yeah, the winner.
The chat is telling me. So
they got 80 breakdown. So
so apparently you picked his team apart just after the fact, unfortunately.
I couldn't have done it on the day of. They're so hard to beat. They're just so good on Into the Dark.
Has that, do you reckon, like you were talking about you wanting to look back at some other teams and see who's not doing well and have a bit of fun? Do you reckon this the Talon's doing so well will inspire people to go back and look at the compendium or some teams that maybe aren't that popular at the moment, but maybe haven't had a proper look in and Into the Dark and just getting a run for a while against some of the new meta?
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think on an open board, I don't think there's anything hiding out there that we're not aware of. I think there are maybe some compendium teams that are pretty good on Into the Dark that we haven't. Like, I think Demons actually might be okay on Into the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
But like outside of that, I mean, there's also the other fact of Talons where it's like nobody was really prepping for Talons. So like I probably played against like every team that I played against there, other than Blooded actually. But every time I played there, I had like lots of reps into, aside from Talons, pretty much. So it's also like they're really good, and you don't have any like you're kind of like learning it on the fly, which is really hard. And they're kind of playing differently, like with the recon. Like it's like a tanky team using recon, which is weird. It's super good. It's legit. And it's not as potent, I think, on open board. But
sure.
As far as Into the Dark goes, they're legit for sure.
I'm going to have to just stick with the power teams for now, I think, for myself. We're going to get into some Legions of Russ very soon because I'm excited for it. And I know you are too, as a fan of the show. I'm sure you've been limbering up at home getting ready for that.
I told Ben, I'm like, I'm gonna have no idea. It's gonna be super fun.
We like all our guests have no idea what's going on, so you're in company. But just quickly looking ahead, Kill Team, we got one more of the box sets coming for Into the Dark. What do you think's coming for the future? Is there anything you're excited? Where does Kill Team go from here?
I want Chaos Demons so bad. It's they're like my team, my OG team, and I've just every box. I'm just like, please give me Chaos Demons, and it just doesn't happen. So I'm
maybe that's
the
next one. Kill Team Into the Warp. We've come out of the dark and we go straight into the warp, and it's just demons everywhere, and we get 4
I would
teams.
love it.
That would be awesome, like a full Nurgle team, and then full Zinch team. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Could that be?
Eventually.
Yeah. What do you think's coming next after we go?
Yeah.
After we come back from the dark and we're back to open play, are we sticking with open play if you were just like wildly speculating, or
I have no idea
what are we doing? Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like Into the Dark kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're not going to do it next season, but I don't know. GW surprises me. I'm still wondering what happened to the White Dwarf teams.
Yeah, they just
where did they go?
Didn't they?
Yeah,
I kind of liked them. I was enjoying them.
I thought that was. I
was a fan as well.
I thought that was a great way to keep.
I guess there's enough teams out now, but I really like that format. Yeah.
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 It's a shame.
I mean, like, there's this notion that like, there'll have to be Tyranids soon or Death Guard, but it's like they just released RBDs and crew.
Who knows?
Like, who even knows?
Yeah.
Right? It's just.
It could be. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Which is cool.
I still want.
Which is cool that they have the outlet for it.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. That we might get those random teams that people aren't thinking about. No one was thinking we'll get our BEs and Kill Team.
No.
So yeah, Zotes.
Zotes for days, baby. Zotes for days.
I still think they've got a Squig team in there somewhere. All Squigs, all day.
That's Sniffer
awesome.
Squig. Yep, all
Squig.
Squig.
I would love a Squig
cool.
team.
Yeah, man. All Squigs.
14 Squigs bouncing around the board and just going hard. I love it. Now I think power team.
I think Gelapox would be an awesome. You could all Squig a Gelapox team and just have like the Hulks as just these massive Squigs, just like the brute Squigs, and then the tiny little winged Squigs. I was
telling Emmanuel, who does a lot of orc conversions, that he needs to make a Gellerwog where it's just 4 mega knobs and just a million little squigs and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that was been my idea too. Like as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, this is the perfect proxy team.
Yeah. Or
Emmanuel somewhere's just gotten all excited and quickly run back to his desk.
I've already told him about it.
Oh, there you go.
And the other one is I'd love to see is Wog Coven, where you have weird boys and it's like instead of sorcerers.
So good.
Yeah, we had somebody in the Battle Brothers server do that with I think it was like what is it the Bone Splitter orcs, Bone Splitters or something like that.
Yeah.
From AOS.
Like the Savage orcs.
Like the tribal. Savage orcs. Yeah, he did it with those and it's very, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so I love that.
I love it.
We got a question. Well, not a question. Shane, the Kill Team stream is in there, and they just want to know, how did the live Legions of Russ at KTO go?
Oh man, I was so confused. I didn't get it for sure. The whole room was bewildered. I forgot what it ended up being. It was
So do we. Don't worry.
It was the Lamenters.
I remember it was Lamenters. Yeah, because I had Int. I was like, okay, Tolkien tree. I had Int. And but I think it was George from the Brooklyn squad got
George
it.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, so
for
cool.
those who weren't
not many people understood. Like it was a very niche portion of that, right? It's like Kill Team Casual is very casual, but and then at like a room full of hyper competitive players, like here, take this. And so I don't think many people got it, but those of us who did get it, it was a nice little treat and very sweet of Sheldon to throw that
Sheldon
in there.
asked.
It was on a big screen. Everybody was captivated. It was cool.
Oh no!
No one had ever heard of GFN
I was up
gaming.
in the VIP room. Yeah, I was up in the VIP room with Andy, and I think Dakota came and got me. He was like, "Hey, they're looking for you down there," and yes, they played it. So it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of Russ, what do you reckon?
Whoa! I think it's about time to play it on a side itself. Take us away.
Only say this once, it's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Wow. Isn't that wholesome?
Wholesome music.
That was the theme song playing.
Okay.
That was the theme song.
I just realized we were cutting to a graphic. Everybody went quiet.
Yes.
I feel like I shouldn't say anything. I'm just going to play along.
Oh, jinkies.
You knew the score. You were in there with us. So, Shane, for your benefit alone, I've reworded and it's rescored. We did preview this scoring system to make it easier. It's to be more Kill Team related. So it feels more like Kill Team TAC Op scoring, because normally my explanation of the rules is harsh and harrowing at best. So now it should be easier. So welcome to Legions of Russ. We have updated. This is going to be, I've lost count of how many Gestinental belts this is. Let's say the third.
4?
Season 3, the third?
3 or 4?
Yeah, we'll say it's the fourth.
I think it's the fourth. I think it's the fourth.
I'll go fourth.
Gestinental belt.
We'll go with the fourth. So I will read out a cryptic clue wordplay style riddle thing describing a legion or chapter or warband or regiment of guard. It could be an obscure one. The obscurer, the better. I think that's a word.
It's a segmentum.
But it could be your favorite. If it's got no color, no paint scheme, then it's a prime target for Legions of Russ, just to make it even harder to guess. Yeah. So I will read it out, and the first partial guess, regardless of how many words there are, gets 1 victory point. If that partial guess was without any clues, you get an extra 1 victory point.
Okay.
From then on, a completion guess, so finishing the name of the chapter or whatever it is, gets 1 victory point. And a full guess, so if you get a partial without clues and a full guess, so you complete it all, sniping it, you get an extra victory point. So that's 4 victory points if you can snipe it. That's the big money. That's the big money. Okay. Upped the scoring to 4 victory points. So,
okay.
You know what? And you've already had an example of this, Shane. We'll skip the example because we do have an example one, but we're just going to skip that one because you've got a rough idea of what Legions of Russ is.
Not his first rodeo. It's not his first rodeo. So,
out of respect for our guest, Shane, I have opted to go for Chaos Warbands as a tip of the cap to the Legionary win that he had, placing second in an 89 plus whatever it was man competition, which is impressive work. So we're going for Chaos Warbands. So Chaos Space Marine Warbands. Plus they've got crazy names, so it's just kind of nuts. Let's go around the room. Right. Ben, how are you feeling?
The new rule set, LOR 2.0, I feel like does not reward my Uziing style quite as much, which I think was a nerf. I needed to be nerfed. I was getting too strong, and so I needed to be nerfed. And so
you were big APL. You were peerless warriors. You were like,
I was peerless.
Time. Yeah.
And so I think I need to be nerfed. I was too strong. Thank you for that. Yeah. Big ups to the devs here, to the developers. Something a tip that I will give is just in your brain, like rev up the motor of 40K words that you would never hear anywhere else other than in a 40K book or whatever. Just weird like lexiconum words that you might think of, and have those floating around and pull from that. That is my tip.
Good tip.
Godspeed.
All right.
Rhys, how are you feeling, Rhys?
Look, no tips. I'm just here for the win. Gonna
snipe it. 4 victory points.
Just blood. 4 points, baby.
Shane, our honored guest, how are you feeling?
Oh, not good. I am. It's funny. Despite taking Legionaries, I really am. I'm way more familiar with like Orcs or something. So I should have probably thrown that into you guys beforehand. But I'm in this now. So.
Okay, we're into this. This is Legions of Russ. You know what? I think I've got a few on a sliding scale of ease, and I'm going to start us with what I think is the easiest one to start us off.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, exactly. I think again, it's hard to know. So, this is a Chaos Warband. I'm going to give you a hint straight off the bat before we even started. This is the name of what they were when they were loyalists. So they've got a name as the Chaos Warband, but this is going to be... So technically, this is a loyalist chapter that has gone bad.
Oh,
so they do have... There's going to be a bonus victory point if you can guess that name afterwards, but I can't imagine because it's so obscure. But let's go. Everyone at home, your name is your... Oh, Shane, I should mention your name is your buzzer. So if you want to guess... Okay. Shout out Shane, command point, anything you want to throw out there, and then come in with your guess. Ben has a question.
Ben,
you can't guess now.
I can. I could.
Disqualified.
I could, right?
If you get it right, we're doing another one, and you don't get the victory points. That's what I'm telling you now.
Okay. All right.
No, come in with a guess. What is it? If you can snipe it, let's see.
It's not Astral Claws, is it?
It's not. No, it's not. I wouldn't have gone that.
Darn it.
Can I snipe?
Darn it.
No, wait. I'm gonna wait. I've got one though.
Ooh.
Oh dear. This is maybe I'll switch this up next time. Okay, so let's go. I've got these on you. You could say I'm positively atomic about it, and because of that, I've missed the Canadian rapper that's cloned himself, and both have just walked by. I'm going to say it again slowly for Ben.
Good God.
I've got these on you. You could say that I'm positively atomic about it, and because of that, I've missed the Canadian rapper that's cloned himself, and both have just walked
Rhys.
by. Oh no.
So
Rhys.
He's gonna have to be a partial. The second word is Drake's.
It is indeed Drake's. That is one victory
something
point.
Drake's.
But you get 2 victory points technically, because obviously you got the partial without clues. So that's 2 victory points for Rhys. We've got 1 victory point left up for grabs for the completion guess. So you know now that the second name of this once loyal chapter is Drake's.
Rhys.
The first...
Ben? Oh, you son of a gun.
He got in there. Rhys got in there.
I don't think this is right. This is more, I'm just having it crack because I had a feeling now I've done the half. Is it the eyeless Drakes?
It's not, unfortunately.
Ben, okay. I'm gonna go for a guess.
Ben,
is it the Iron Drakes?
It is the Iron Drakes. So
I've got my eyes on you.
Eye on you, or a positive atoms, ion, and then you've got Drakes.
Of course.
Yeah. Shane was right there. He was. I saw his eyes. He was like
on you. So that is. So that is, I mean, I've given you a little bit of information about them already. Oh, does anyone want to throw out a victory point guess at what they were called after they went chaos? There's no clues on this.
So this is after that. So this was their pre-chaos. This was pre-chaos or post-chaos?
So Iron Drakes is what they were as a loyalist chapter, and then they became. It's a kind of a. It sounds very. I mean, they corrupted by Nurgle. Does anyone know it? I'll just say it because
the filthy drakes.
It's out there. It's out there. It's the grey death is what they became known as.
Oh yeah, so tip of my tongue on that one. Yeah,
you were gonna get that. Yeah. I knew Ben. He was gonna come in there.
That was so
Uzi.
Yeah. So they were the Iron Drakes. They basically, it's a classic story. It's the age-old story. They went into the Eye of Terror, fools, part of the Imperial Abyssal Crusade, and then they just kind of stayed there for a bit. By mistake. Too long.
Whoops.
And they got corrupted by Nurgle because they guys got marooned on the classic demon world, and it's Anathrax. They got marooned there by the Death Guard and became the Grey Death. And then, started spreading the good word of Grandpapa Nurgle.
Did we beat the chat, Russ? Did we beat the chat?
Oh, you know what?
How did everyone go?
I forgot to go back in. I think.
Do you want me to check? I've got it. I can bring it back up.
I'm in.
I bet they got it before us.
Almost definitely.
You know what?
Some folks in the chat are so fast at this, it makes me mad.
Rhys versus the people has not been going well. Let me tell you that much.
No. So Primaris Painter probably got the first. Oh no, Danicus Maximus got Drakes. He went for Ionic Drakes.
Ionic.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So he would have got probably 2 victory points, and then the final victory point for
So
Primaris.
Shane, how are you feeling after that? After round 1, your first Legions of Russ, how are you feeling after that?
I think I'm more prepared than ever. Really, I feel revitalized.
I feel like
first round.
Spoken like a true winner.
Do we continue on to the second round? Do we want to go another time? We can go. We don't have to.
Let's do it.
Keep them coming.
Okay, let's go.
What a good sport.
Should we play it up inside itself again, Rhys?
Let's do it.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
It's finally time.
All right.
We're up to twice. Soon it'll be thrice.
Okie dokie. So, just to recap, that was a victory point for Ben and 2 victory points for Rhys, who managed to get the first partial without clues.
Hold on a second. I need to ask about the rules. He got 2 points. I got 1 point. Even though it was but it's pre-hint.
So you get the first victory point. The first victory point is first partial guess is a victory point, and if that partial guess was without clues, it's a victory point. And then the completion guess. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
don't bow
down, son.
Don't bow down.
Sit down, Russ.
No,
Sit down,
honestly,
buddy.
No. You know
Tell him how to play his own
game. It's at my discretion, son. The full guess without clues, you don't get that's a full guess without clues is extra victory points, so you get an extra. Yeah. So 3, if it's different people, is the max that can ever be done. But first person coming in with a full snipe gets the 4 victory points. Sorry, Ben.
So actually,
1 victory point to you.
So I was not nerfed by my Uzi crack spraying technique. I'm actually this rewards.
I mean, Rhys is winning. The first.
That's why I went so early, because I was like, I'm not letting the Uzi kick off because I don't get a word in then.
Okay.
If you can grab onto any of these words,
I've been buffed. I've moved up the tier list.
Yeah. Shane, move him up. Move him up the list.
Where is he now, Shane? Where is he? S tier. So.
Oh, definitely. I'll have to make a new tier.
What's above S? Okay.
V7S++, actually. Once a month.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, it was so this is probably not going to help you because this is basically one word.
Okay.
We're going back into a Chaos Warband, and it's a one word. There's technically a second word, but we're not counting the second word. It's kind of like a joining word and a bridging word. There's basically one word. So let's go back in to the second Legions of Russ. Okay. This one's a bit longer. I apologize. On top of your neck, and again, it's not off. Myself have a son, astronomically speaking, although technically it's the second one. If you're stuck on the last bit, it's what you might say to your captain if they give you an order. I'll repeat it again. As there's only one word, I can't really... I've basically split that word into different sections.
Yeah.
So the first section is on top of your head, and again... on top of your neck, and again, it's not off. That was a little clue. That was a little freebie there. Okay, I'm just going to give you that now. On top of your neck, just in case you missed it. And again, it's not off. Myself, I have a son, astronomically speaking. Although technically, it's the second one. If you're stuck on that last bit, it's what you might say to your captain if they give you an order.
Rhys.
Oh, I hate you.
This can't be. This can't be a guess.
Is it the Hedonites or Hedonites?
Oh, it's very close.
Oh,
it's very close, but it's not quite there.
Shane,
Think more
Shane, do you have
40K.
I got nothing. Nothing at all.
So think about what. So it's very close. I've decided not to give.
I'm gonna hate you for this.
I can't give you a partial one. Yeah, it's very close to that, but it's less of an actual word than what you said. Shall I move into clue territory? Although I think your guess has pretty much been the best clue we've got. In that it's very close. Obviously, on top of your head was the clue, so it's on top of your neck, and I said head, so you know it begins with head.
Ben.
Okay.
Hedon R.
You're very close. I think I like where your head's at. No pun intended. That's very
Ben. Hedon R.I. Hedon R.I.I. Aye, Captain.
He's just making noises now.
You're very close with that end bit. You're on the money with the end bit. It's
Shane?
Yes,
Shane.
go Shane.
I mean, I'm thinking Hedon I.
It's very close. So there's a bit. Have you got anything else you want to add into that?
Hedon I.
So, I have a son, astronomically speaking.
Yeah, that clue's one that's just absolutely.
Shall I go into the chat and see if someone's
Hedon
killed
I
it?
stars?
Ben? Oh, hold on.
Did I say it? Did I say it?
Say your name, Shane. Say your name first.
Shane.
You know what? I give extra points because you're not used to saying your name. So Shane gets it with the Hedonice stuff. The Hedonice Starry. It's the Hedonice
Starry. I had Star, and I was like, that's not a word.
I was gonna say you were so close with your first guess, Rhys. You knew it was coming. So that will be. I don't think I got into clue territory, so that might be 4 victory points.
Is that the first 4 of the new season?
I think that might be the first 4. I hadn't actually started giving clues.
That's a snipe.
Yikes! That is a comes out and just guns it down.
What is the name again?
It's the
Hedonice Star. Yeah, Hedonice
Star.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, so it's
bonus
it's
points.
double.
That might be the weirdest one we've ever had.
Double I at the end, Hedonice Starry, I think, but it's such an odd, obviously hedonistic, and then starry. It's a weird one, but yeah. Can you guess what god they are aligned with?
Slaanesh.
That's the one. Yes,
so Nurgle again.
Nurgle
checks out.
So they're Chaos Space Marines dedicated to the Chaos God Slaanesh. The classic exact origins of this warband are unknown. They're Slaanesh worshipping renegades, and they often raid the extremities of the eastern fringe in the Ultima Segmentum. They're quite they're basically like Corsairs. They're like fleet-based heretics, heretic Astartes pirates. Just doing war for war's sake. It's kind of a shame because you kind of wish they would have a better paint scheme. It's just basically Emperor's Children.
Just purple.
It's kind of like a purple.
It's just purple.
Kind of upsetting. Yeah, it's not a fantastic one. I didn't check the chat to know if someone sniped it as well, but we're giving Shane the 4 victory points. The first 4.
Wow, impressive.
The first snipe of the new system.
You won't be invited.
Ben's the one who
back
thinks he's
after
got the buff. You've gone straight to the S++ tier.
Wow. I don't know who to thank. I
Slanesh, obviously.
Thanks, Slanesh.
Slanesh. They were up there for you.
All right, Russ, have you got... I think we've got time for one more.
Have we got time for one more?
Do you have time for one more?
Yeah.
I was going to say we should have asked how long we got you for, Shane.
Oh, I'm good. Keep going. I mean,
yeah.
Well, he's feeling good now. Of course, he wants to play more now. He's like, I'm winning, guys. Of course,
should have quit while you were ahead, Shane.
Yeah,
just been warming up. That's all.
I mean,
should have quit while you were ahead.
The landslides in town. Watch out.
Big Papa Pump's coming back. Okay, we should have asked Shane if you had like a wrestling persona that you wanted to come in with, because obviously we've got two sexy Shawn Michaels and Bam Bam Bigelow, the landslide. Bam Bam the landslide Bigelow. Yeah.
Do you know anything about wrestling? Because I don't know anything about wrestling.
When I was a kid, I watched it. So I know those guys that you just said.
Yeah, it's old school references that all we have.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 2 victory points for Rhys, 1 victory point for Ben, who apparently got buffed recently, according to everyone, and 4 victory points to Shane. So, Ben, not seeing the benefit of that, but you must be into the dark. You got buffed on.
Yeah.
This is open play. Can't find
it. This format, the guess and intel format, it just really sort of does not work well with my natural play style.
Fair.
It's fair. That's fair. That's more than
throwing
fair.
me off my game. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can give you at least one in here. So, Rhys, do we want to play it up inside itself last time?
One more time.
It's a lie.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Oh, so wholesome. Gets me every
so
time.
Wholesome. I just checked the chat, and apparently Lapscallion had it early because he's a good one. He always gets it.
Lapscallion does perform very well. He's
If this was Rhys versus the people, Rhys would be up for an embarrassment again.
It's a pantsing.
Because that's
absolute pantsing.
That's how it's a public shaming of Rhys once more. Okay, so we're back into Legions of Russ. This is the 3rd Legions of Russ, and so far, Shane, the guest, is running away with the belt, the Guestinental belt.
The master.
So, yeah, first time sniping it out. So
the underdog story.
Yes, we're going to say it's 2 words, and they're not specifically GW. They're not. You don't have to roll through the lexiconum to get to these words. They exist. You probably wouldn't use them on your day-to-day, if I'm honest.
Is this chaos?
Depending on what you do in your day-to-day, you could do. If you do, I worry. It is another Chaos Warband. So.
All right.
Rhys, how are you feeling?
Dang it.
I remember we talked about bringing in a chess clock earlier. Yeah. We may need to do that for your intros. And time.
Shane, how you doing?
Doing great.
I can't possibly feel better.
Great, let's go into this. Okay. So, I'm leaning in. Your name is your buzzer. Becoming more and more obsolete. Think drives. G-Dubs protects this with tremendous zeal. It means fewer, or if you're French. Not quite a full desk in the back of a big van, as the sun did this brightly that day. My God, this makes no sense. It just seems like word garbage, and that's, I guess, the game. But I'll read it back. So,
one more slow for Ben, please.
Becoming more and more obsolete. Think drives. G-Dubs protects this with tremendous zeal. It means fewer, or if you're French. Not quite a full desk. In the back of a big van, as the sun did this brightly that day. So it's 2 words. There's a word in between, and the first word is made up of becoming more and more obsolete. Think drives. G-Dubs protects this with tremendous zeal, and it means fewer, or if you're French. That's the first word.
Oh
no!
I don't have a full guess, but I have a part.
Go for it.
Is the word less in there somewhere? Because I'm really lost here.
Yeah, you are correct. That's the latter part of the first word.
Okay.
So yeah, so that
I've got half of a one word, so I've got a quarter of the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get a quarter of a point.
So the first
I've already
part
forgotten
of the word
what the rest of it was.
it's becoming more and more obsolete. Think drives. G-Dubs protects this with tremendous zeal. And then what you've just put at the end.
Ben, I'm going to guess this partial guess. Hopeless?
No, I don't know why I laughed. That's pretty decent, actually, but no, it's not. But you're in the right lines.
He's just used to laughing at your answers. He had the laugh cocked. He was like...
No, it's just because it's kind of funny, like with no. But that's a decent guess. That is a decent guess. It's the kind of words you're looking for, yes. But yeah, the first one is becoming more and more... Yeah, becoming more and more obsolete. Think drives, so they're together. Think drives, something that's kind of obsolete or becoming more obsolete. Digital.
Rhys.
Now, okay.
Careless?
What was that, sorry?
Careless, the first word?
It's not careless.
I thought it was going to be Careless Whisper, that famous Chaos War band.
George Michael?
They're on the way!
It is the George Michaels. No. And then G-Dubs protects this with tremendous zeal. What do they protect? It's initials of what they protect.
I know what that is, but I can't put this. I know what that is. I know the second half, but I can't put it together.
I'm just going to bowl straight into clues. I'm kind of going for clue territory anyway.
Second word. This is, before I say it, is this a made up word? Like, is this a word?
No,
not made up word.
Okay, then I don't have a guess.
It was a guess.
Both words are normal words.
Okay, then I don't.
Do you have a guess, Rhys?
No, I don't have a guess.
Have a guess. Okay. So the first one, you know what? This could be easily a wrestling duo. If we're talking about that, this could be a name of a wrestling duo.
That feels unfair to me.
This could be a tag team thingy. Anyway, so yeah, becoming more and more obsolete. So it's a form of, I guess, digital is kind of.
Okay, Ben, I just got to shoot this out there. I don't have the second word.
Okay.
Ipless.
You're very close. You're just missing the first part.
I know I'm close.
Yeah, it's that first part. So it's the so you used to get these drives on PCs as commonplace, but now you tend to not get these on PCs anymore because you download everything. There's no need for this to load anything from.
Sidless?
You're very close. Basically, that's it.
Sipless?
But it's the drive that runs the CD.
No. Rapidless?
I'm
oozing.
I genuinely have got, and you're not even saying your name anymore. You're just yelling.
Ben.
If you were in the Olympics, you might throw something that sounds very much like this. Yeah.
Rhys, Disciples?
Disciples.
Yes.
It is disciples. That is a victory point. One victory point for Rhys. Yeah. So it's disciples.
Yep.
And then the second word, think wrestling duo, because this could easily be
so
a wrestling
incredibly
name.
angry. I'm trying to keep composure because we have a lovely guest on. You were
so close.
And I'm infuriated right now.
Shane, if you weren't here, Ben would be just screaming us down right now. So thank God for you.
Yeah. Let it all out.
So
Shane's been to the top tables. All right, he's used to seeing this kind of
pressure,
competitive frothing from people like Ben. The sweatiness,
the table. So
what's the rest
not
of this?
Quite.
Yes.
So the last word is not quite a full desk. So I'm going to give you a clue. It's 3/4 of a desk. If you're thinking about how you would spell it.
Esque.
No.
That's not a word.
I know it wasn't that. I had to shoot for it.
But like that's the first part of the word. So the first part of the word is 3/4 of a desk, but is in the word and how you would spell it. Then big van. So another word for a van. And then the sun does this, but it's a past tense. So it doesn't shine. It past tense of shine. So you're thinking a desk, but not the full desk, a big van, and then
destruction.
Oh,
that is it.
You're the worst. You're the freaking worst.
Oh, you know what? It's ended up as a tie because Rhys got 2 victory points. Shane sniped 4 victory points. And I mean, Ben's not in the running, but it's a tie between.
Just another day in the office, then, eh, Ben? Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben.
So hold on. So this would go to a tiebreaker, right? And our tiebreaker is primary points, and primary would be who sniped and who didn't snipe.
Remind me of tiebreakers right now.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's too soon.
Tiebreaker. So tiebreaker would go to Shane, right? As the sniper, Shane gets the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a Primarch tiebreaker.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Oof. I'll sit out.
Ben, if you could just be quiet for the next 20 minutes, that'd be great.
I was gonna say, yeah, I had this.
So it was Disciples of Destruction or Disciples of Destruction?
Oh yeah, I haven't said.
You haven't like.
So yeah, I haven't told you anything about them.
No.
I normally do that. Yeah. So the Disciples of Destruction, forget my own game. The Disciples of Destruction, they're the classic Legion of Russ. They don't unknown origin, allegiance. Although I'm guessing people realize they're chaos by the name alone, most likely. I'm gonna say they were probably word bearers, but we don't really know. They were encountered by Imperial forces 988. The 41st millennium, but there's literally nothing. They've got the weirdest color scheme ever. They do have a color scheme, but it's just nuts. It's kind of like a mix between lava and tie-dye. I can't describe it any more than that. It's crazy. And they've got like sheets of parchment instead of an aquila. Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Wild.
Very weird.
Isn't it?
It's almost like
it's just weird.
Kind of Night Lordies. It's a little bit Night Lordies.
It
like
does sound like a
Night Lords and word bearers
team.
Yeah, doesn't it? Just the Disciples of Destruction. Oh yeah, I can see.
Oh yeah, they have a wacky color scheme.
Yeah, it's kind of look. If you're at home right now, look it up. It's kind of crazy.
We have 8 minutes on the clock, Russ. Let's do this.
You know what? I'm gonna.
You're not into it. Okay, sorry, I tried.
Oh no, I've got it. Okay, so this is a semi, not really any kind of wordplay. This is just kind of. I'll just read it out. So there's obviously Primarchs. Try not to just. Ben's not in it, so we're probably not going to chain through them. So here we go. I'm just going to go into this. So it's kind of this is we've not done a Primarch. Tiebreaker before, but this is the first time for anything. First snipe, first tiebreaker. Okay, let's go. So, tiebreaker, let's go. Surfing grifter, swearing like a Geordie Docker, born in the early 2000s. Goddamn Zoomers. I can't remember writing this, but that's what I put. So, surfing grifter.
Oof.
Swearing like a Geordie Docker. Geordie's northeast of England, so basically swearing a lot. Born in the early 2000s. Goddamn Zoomers. So I'm going to break down the first bit first. So, surfing grifter. It's a thing that a grifter might do, and it's something a surfer might say, but flipped. So, what is a grift? What might a surfer say? It's a three-letter word that a surfer might say a lot. You might throw a totally in there as well. Shane?
Rad is part of it, right? Rad.
Do you want to continue that guess? Primarchs?
Oh, goodness. Oh, God, I'm trying to think of what the Primarchs were. I watched, or I read the stupid books.
So we're going to give you a little bit of time.
Where's that chess clock?
This is the chess clock that's gone. You've got a bit of time. So, a grifter might do this kind of stuff. Might be like a scam artist, or another word for scamming.
Oh, Conrad, Shane, Conrad, what's his name? He dies.
So if you swear a lot, you might use.
There it is.
Conrad Curse. Technically it's Conrad Curse, but we'll accept Curse because it's Z with a zoomer.
Also
so
cool.
Also
cool. Yes.
Yeah. So
well done. Well done.
That's
But
the
funny enough,
tiebreaker.
your Legionaries are Night Lords, right?
Are they?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Ryan painted them up as, Night Lords? Yeah.
I planned them. I planned that clearly.
Just like you
so that
planned
is.
it.
So Shane is the first guest-endental guest winner of Legions of Russ with a sniper tiebreaker win.
I may not have won KTO, but
Yeah.
You won the real prize, sir.
You won
the
what-
real prize.
You can have the opportunity to win KGO once a year, okay? This, you only get the chance to win this once a week, okay? That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Oh man, what an upset!
Oh,
What an upset!
Wow. Yeah.
Didn't see it coming.
Not into it. Not into it.
I'm not about that.
Not about it.
Not about that, says Rhys.
Filthy.
I'll take as long as Rhys doesn't win. I'm all happy. I'm all good as long as
you
Rhys
would
doesn't
say
win.
that. Well, Russ, would you like me to?
Play us out.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Usually I love hearing that song.
You know,
Not
man.
right now. Not right now.
Just
Not right now.
tears soaking into the mustache.
Oh,
Shane, congrats, man,
yeah,
for winning
congrats,
the guest
Shane.
and belt. This is
thank
not
you.
something that people do very often.
no.
And
Usually we just
and
slaughter
so-
the guest and then send them back,
Yes.
back home.
because it takes a demented brain to understand Russ's demented brain. So
Yeah.
I guess you're among good company.
Well,
Apparently.
you got that Chaos Demons mentality.
Oh, yeah.
from, you brought that over
Yeah.
with you, so
True.
it helps.
Well,
all
Warp
true.
touched.
that's the show today, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been action-packed. There was highs, lows, knowledge learned.
A lot of kill team?
A disgusting
kill
amount
team.
of kill team. The chat at one point was, wow, we're talking a lot of kill team today. And we know they're not usually into that at all.
No.
Sorry, guys.
I feel like I've
was
learned a
lovely,
lot
man.
about a team that I thought I knew a lot about. So this is great.
Mm.
I feel like I can play Legionaries a little bit differently now. So I'm thanks for the tips. Obviously, I was getting those tips from Command Point anyway, but now they were fed to me on my own show, which is great.
Spoon-fed. Like the answers in
Yeah.
Legions of Rust, just spoon-fed to us.
Yeah.
Yum, 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 yum.
Instead, this time when I was shouting at the screen, normally you don't respond to me, but now when I was shouting questions out, you actually answered them, which is fantastic.
I always hear you.
That makes it even funnier. He's just
I just
ignoring
choose not to answer. Yeah.
you. Awesome. Well,
man.
thank you
well,
so much.
Thanks again, man. This has been
Yeah.
a real pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank
man,
you
it's
for
been
having
great.
me. This was a blast. I've always wanted to be a part of this. Really. No, it was a lot of fun. Seriously,
Awesome.
I'm glad you guys had me on.
Once you get the crew
Oh,
working
that's
on
really good
ITD,
sport.
you'll be invited back so you can tell us how they
That's the
work.
next one.
Yeah, that's the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to get
Can't
Ryan on
promise.
here too. That'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian's gonna be so jealous that I was on here. I just want you to know that.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Oh,
that's
man.
the show. Massive thank you, as always, to Ben
Yeah,
from Battle
thank you, man.
Brothers Tabletop. Just to my
Oh,
that
thank
side.
you.
Oh.
Yes, me, the loser of today's game. That's tastes weird in my mouth. Normally, I'm the winner. And thank you to Russ for running it all and coming up with the good stuff.
And a huge thank you from all of the Kill Team casuals to our honored guest, Shane from Command Point, one of the legends
Oh,
of
man.
Kill Team on YouTube.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank
Make sure you do check out Command Point. Make sure
Yes.
this will be up on our YouTube, which is Casual War Gamers. If you want to watch it back, why wouldn't you? Make sure you subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Check out all our channels as well. Like, subscribe, join. There's Patreons. There's all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Later, guys.
See you.
See you later, everybody.
A huge shout out from us to our patrons who help keep everything going. So a big shout out to Kill Team Ken, Roscoe88, Justin Kung, TS Freebooter, Vulture B, Average Joe 27, Kill Team Cascadia, Craig F. Lincoln, George, Alan Chapman, Hillux, Swanky McMofo, Stooge Co, Admiral Rudy, Michael Richards, Gordon Ballantyne, Dave B, Io Adrian, Storm Owl, Brady, and Jack Whittington. Legends one and all.